Hi guys, it's Coach Julie and welcome back to my channel, Making Sense Out of Your Dollars and Cents. Well guys, today is my special day of the week, and what day is that? Wealth Building Wednesday! Yay! Listen guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about marriage and finances. If you're married, if you're thinking about getting married, if you're not sure if you want to stay married, this video is for you, and especially for those of you that are having problems in your finances, because that's what we're going to talk about today, problems in your finances. So I'm going to not only just talk to you straight about your finances in marriage, but I'm also going to provide some biblical principles to go along with that. Now, I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible and what it says. But here's the thing. If you're a believer or you're not a believer, these biblical principles will work for you. So trust me on that. You're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you share it with a friend, hit like, hit share, and that way you can share the good news about how to get out of debt and build wealth in the year 2023. So the first principle I want to talk to you about comes from two places in the Bible. In the beginning, when God put Adam and Eve together, the thing he said in Genesis is the two shall become one. The two shall become one in everything. That's what that means. You're combining households. You're combining your finances. You're combining your resources. You're combining everything. The two shall become one. And if you are having problems in your marriage financially, it's because you're not one in your finances. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. My husband and I have been married for 20 years. And for about 17 out of those 20 years, we were not together on our finances. And we made good money. We couldn't figure out why we couldn't get out of debt. We carried a huge amount of credit card debt. And really, it was our spiritual mentors that kept telling us, you don't have a money problem, you have a spiritual problem. For years, we didn't get that. And literally, they told us that years ago. So this was not new information for us. We just didn't know what it meant to come together and figure out why we had a spiritual issue when I could see what money's coming in and what money's going out. And they never lined up. But really, it wasn't until we got on the same page, guys, that we began to get out of debt and really began to build wealth. There's also another scripture in Matthew that talks about a house divided cannot stand. And that really goes back to like the two becoming one. A house divided cannot stand. A lot of times, my husband and I, we mentor a lot of couples in their marriages, in their finances, and oftentimes finances come up. What I also am hearing from a lot of these couples is their money is separate. And they can't figure out why they can't get ahead. And they can't figure out why they're not able to get that house that they want to get or whatever, because you're not together. You haven't come together. And finances are a big deal. I think that's why God talks about it so much in the Bible. But if you're not coming together in your finances, trust me on this, you are not going to get ahead. Now, I will get some flack on this. I know I will. But I'm telling you what I know. Until you come together, you might be doing well having him pay the rent and you paying the light bill, or him paying the mortgage and you paying the gas bill and he paying the groceries. I'm going to tell you, that might all work for you. But in the long run, it's not going to work for you. If you combine your resources, I don't care if you make $150,000 and the other person makes $10,000, you all make $160,000 together. When you begin to look at that, the miraculous can take place. But if you all are separate, and I've even heard couples that are loaning their money to their husbands or loaning money to their wives and expecting a payback. That's insane. Guys, that's insane. You cannot be married and be borrowing from yourself. Literally. What do you think the two become one means? The two become one. So if you're loaning money, it's like you're loaning money to if you're loaning money to your spouse, you're loaning money to yourself. So what kind of sense does that make, guys? So come on. That's got to be principle number one. You've got to come together in your finances. You got to pool your resources together. Whatever money is coming into the house needs to go in a pot. And whatever that looks like, then you figure out how to pay the bills and how to take care of the kids and how to pay the rent and all that stuff. But you can't do it separate. And if you're trying to do it separate, I'm telling you, it ain't going to work long. And before long, you guys are going to begin to have problems financially. And a lot of times couples end up getting divorced over finances when it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so take my advice on that. That's number one. Come together, pool all your resources together. Okay? The next thing I want to tell you about is learn to live on one income. Now, I know that might sound impossible, especially for those of us that live in California or in very expensive states. It might sound impossible, but it's not. And my husband and I, we learned that early on in our marriage, that the two can live on one income and do well. We watched our mentor and his wife do that for years, and they had 4 children, all went to private school, car note, house note, whatever, and the husband did what he had to do to make sure his family was taken care of. Yes, this is in California, in Southern California, one of the most expensive places to live. So you can do it. So my husband and I took that lead from our mentors. And I quit my job 15 years ago and I never looked back. So, and here's the other part of that. My husband's income has grown year after year after year, almost exponentially. And a lot of that is because I believe we were obedient to what God wanted us to do, which was for me to stop working, which allowed him to really grow up and mature in what he was doing and be able to, find himself in the position. He has his dream job now, everything he wanted to. He has all the freedom he wants to. The company takes really, really good care of him. And we are really tracking on our way to a really nice retirement at some point. So pool your resources together. And number 2, like I said, figure out a way to live off of one income. Again, if you want to check me on it or challenge me on it, please put some comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to tell you how you can do it too, if that's something you want to do. Because let me tell you something, especially if you're a young couple, married couple starting out, and you're both counting on the wife's income, if she goes, or if you all decide you're going to have a couple of kids, she is not going to want to go to work 6 weeks and leave her 6-week-old baby with some stranger in a daycare, because if she doesn't go back to work, the household won't be able to support itself. So really think about that. As husbands, as the head of the household, it's really your responsibility to make sure that the family is covered financially. I know I'll get a lot of flack back on that too, but I'm okay with that because I know what God's word says. And trust me, if y'all come together and decide that you want to do this, there is nothing that can get in the way of you doing it. So trust me on that. That's number 2. Now, number 3, make plans and goals for your finances together. If you don't have your goals and dreams and visions pulled together, you won't be able to advance and move forward. And that means whatever your goals are, his goals are your goals and your goals are his goals. Now, you may have some specific things that you want to do, but if you have kids, we know we want to send them to a good school, right? If we live in an apartment, we know we want to buy a house at some point. If we're getting up in years, we know we want to retire well at some point. You want to buy that car at some point. So you can come together and make those decisions together, write them down. Put them on a vision board. In fact, again, going to another biblical principle where it talks about it in Habakkuk 2:3, or I think it's 2:2 or 2:3. Make sure that you guys have your plans and goals together. Write them down. Put them on a vision board. Write the vision and make it plain is what it says in the scriptures. Write the vision and make it plain. So that way everybody in the household is on the same page. Trust me, this will help you, this will help you, this will help you. Now, here's another thing. Most couples that are married, and I've almost seen no couple that doesn't fit this category, one person is more of a spender and one person is more of a saver. That is just kind of how it works out. I don't know why. That's the same thing in my household. Almost every couple that my husband and I talk to, it's the same thing in their families as well. One person is a spender, one person is a saver. And if they're extreme opposite ends, like my husband and I were, both of y'all are going to be very, very frustrated because one person's going to really, really want to save, which was me, and my husband really, really, really liked to spend. And we had to figure out a way how to come together. The thing that we were missing, again, going back to what our mentors say, we weren't on the same page. We had a spiritual issue. our spiritual issue showed up in the form of $30,000 worth of credit card debt ongoing. We couldn't figure out how to get it real. Now, I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. You guys know me. I always keep it real. We carried a huge amount of debt for a lot of years, and we couldn't figure out why we couldn't get it down. It wasn't that we didn't have the money. It wasn't that, we didn't know how to pay off a credit card. It just, we hadn't come together. We hadn't united in our goals. So what we finally did about 3.5, 4 years ago is we finally decided we're going to get on the same page. We committed to doing what we said we were going to do. We were going to pay off the credit card debt within 2 years, and we wrote it down. Now, here's one thing I did. I'm the saver, and I'm the one that had to kind of get creative in order so that my husband could see the value of this sacrifice that we were having to try to make, because we had to sacrifice everything. We didn't go out to eat. We didn't buy anything outside of what we actually absolutely needed. And it was hard. It was tough. But what I did, because I tend to be a little more creative when it comes to finances, I created a board so that my husband could see how much was being paid off every month. And it was just like a little chart, and it's like we were here and then it dropped down to here. Every month I would put it a little bit and it was all colorful and everything. And when I put it where my husband could see it every single day, and he began to get it when he could actually see, because the amount of money that we had to pay off and the little bit that we were paying towards a credit card, it seemed impossible. But we figured out exactly how much we had to pay to get it down every month, to get it done in 24 months. And not that things didn't come up, things did come up. That kind of threw us off. But we stayed committed to the goal. We could see the vision. Every day we could look at it. We could see how much we were coming down in our debt. And it worked out great. And we missed our goal by 2 months. But here's the thing. Even though it took us 26 months to pay it off, it would have taken us forever if we never set a goal. So I'm telling you guys, do what it says in the Word. Write the vision down. Make it plain. Y'all get together on your finances. And trust me, you're going to see some miraculous things begin to happen as that debt begins to come down. Now, the last thing I would tell you, which I think is really important in any type of financial money management, I'll just call it that. Learn how to give, guys. Learn how to give. My husband and I, we are believers. We choose to tithe. We support our local church. Like it says in the Bible, we have always done that. Even when we were messed up in our finances, we always gave. And I'm telling you, God is very faithful. There is a reason. He's only asking you to give 10%. Actually, he doesn't ask you to give that, because in the New Testament, it just says give according to your heart, So my husband and I have always given, and God has always taken care of us. He has always taken care of us. Even when we weren't faithful with all the rest of the 90%, he took care of us. And I'll just tell you a quick story, and I will kind of wrap this up. There was a period in our lives where I wasn't working and my husband was laid off. That was a very scary time for a person that whose trust was at that time more in the money than in God. That was very scary for me. My husband was not working, and we only had enough funds to last us about 2 months. But God began to show up. My husband was out of work for another 8 months. And that 8 months, God just miraculously began to bless us through people, through the church, through other organizations. He took care of us. He took care of us. We had money coming from people that we didn't even know who they were, anonymously many times. But that's how God took care of us when we didn't have money to take care of ourselves. So trust me, guys, if you want to get your finances straight, do these things that I'm telling you to do, especially if you're married. Married people, you got to come together. You got to come together. Don't let a dollar bill separate you when it comes to coming together in your finances. I'm telling you, this is going to work. This is going to work. This is going to work. And I am so encouraged. For those of you that are listening to this right now, I really encourage you, send it on to someone else that you think might need this information. And if you want more information, if you need help doing this and putting it together, that's what I do as a financial coach. I'll be more than happy to help you. You can hit me up in the comments. hit me up on Messenger, on TikTok, whatever. I'll be happy to help you because I know it's hard. If it doesn't come naturally for you, if money managing doesn't come naturally for you, it's hard. It's hard because sometimes it just doesn't click, and it just sometimes will take another person to kind of make things plain for you so that you can really move forward and build wealth in this coming year. You guys, I'm your coach. I love you guys. Look forward to talking to you again, and make it a great day.